Let's put these questions to Jonathan Davis. He's an economist, wealth advisor and podcaster on all these issues. Good morning to you, Jonathan.
Good morning, Julia.
So why is our productivity going down?
Well, it goes back to 10 years ago, I would say, because I'm looking at the Office for National Statistics longer-term data for productivity, and it is astonishing that in 2008, a rising trend suddenly stopped, and it's largely been flat for the last 10 years. What happened 10 years ago? Not that simply that we had a huge recession, but that we bailed everyone out. So what we did was we bailed out failing businesses and supported them, which meant that competitor businesses which were rising were weeded out.
Well, hold on a minute. That would make sense in the banking financial sector where they were bailed out, but everyone else wasn't bailed out. A lot of companies went under as a result of what happened.
Yeah, well, a lot of companies, it's all relative. But when you consider that the whole of London, in effect, was bailed out, everyone's house price, in effect, was bailed out. So there was a lot of bailouts. It was all pervasive, in fact, across the economy. Clearly, if you're going to have a recession, some businesses are going to go bust.
But hold on a minute. We saw bailouts in other countries. Now, of course, we had a massive big problem because we were so reliant on our financial sector. It's a huge percentage of our economy. Yep. But America, again, they had big bailouts. Their productivity is on the way up. And we're told,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can completely absolutely accept that the Germans are more productive than us. What I can't accept, and with no disrespect to the French people, loving the French, love going on holiday there, but I've spent enough time there. My family live there part of the year. They're not more productive than us. They take a 2 or 3 hour lunch break.
Well, they always have, absolutely. Yes, indeed, some countries are doing better than us, and that's exactly the point. We are an over-financialised economy. Thus, when you bail out essentially the financial aspects of the economy, it means that the other aspects of the economy don't get as good a look in. And yet, it ought to. Manufacturing in the UK is absolutely fantastic. The quality of engineers, we build the best satellites in the world. The Formula One racing cars, we're the second largest car manufacturer, pharmaceuticals, etc. However, because we're not investing enough in areas which require investment, instead we're putting all our money into property. That's an exaggeration, but I'm sure you get the point I'm making. We're too much a financialized economy. We're not putting money into actually wealth-creating areas.
And is part of the issue that we are so reliant on those services, and that's why it is, and also because so much of our success is actually based on people. You know, it's actually people doing jobs. It's all very well you can mechanise and increase productivity in manufacturing and in other production in a way that you simply can't do that with where all the factors that drive our economy in the service sector. It's people, and fundamentally you can only make people so efficient.
Well, no, you can make people a great deal more efficient in a service economy. And I can tell you that here we are, 2019, within 11 years, 2030, listen to this, there will practically not be a taxi driver. There will practically not be a bus driver. You'll find that fast food joints are highly mechanized, highly automated. You'll find that call centers are highly automated. So you'll find that millions of jobs currently will simply not be there within about 10 years from now.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. And just finally, I must ask you, we've had so many warnings about the prospect of a no-deal Brexit. The Bank of England governor put his tuppence worth in. It always comes in totally independent, but just happens to come at crucial moments when there are votes in the Commons and the like. We've had numerous people just saying this would be an absolute disaster. Dominic Greaves, the former Attorney General, talking on the show this morning. You're involved in this world, in the financial world. You're an economist. Would a no-deal Brexit be an economic disaster for this country?
Julia, Brexit has effectively, essentially no effect on the economy. The global economy is what affects the open economy of the United Kingdom. Brexit on the economy, on the pound, on the stock market, on jobs, it's an absolute fallacy.
You said there's nothing to be afraid of. Why are so many people telling us there is something to be afraid of then?
Because, as you say, as you have people on your show every day for the past 2.5 years, the establishment is hugely remain. The media, the politicians, the international businesses, the big banks, as I call them, the party of Davos, clearly is succeeding, unfortunately, in keeping us in the EU. I keep hearing prominent leavers say we will leave. Unfortunately, so far they're wrong. I hope they're proven right, but so far they've been proven wrong.
This is the interesting thing, isn't it? Because we're constantly told that, the people in the city, people in business, that they are opposed to this. We need to care about business. I meet people in the city all the time who tell me that actually you just can't be open and honest about the fact that you're Brexit. Yeah. Something like 40% of people working in the city, certainly entrepreneurs, huge swathes of people running small and medium-sized businesses around the country, very much in favour of Brexit, think it's a great opportunity. And yet we don't seem to hear those voices. We're constantly hearing from the CBI, International Institute of Directors, telling us how dreadful Brexit would be.
Yeah, well, that's because they represent the big international businesses, and the EU represents big international businesses. 90%, listen to this, 90% of British businesses have got absolutely nothing to do with Europe or the EU. 90%. And yet, 100% of us are all affected by EU's regulations. And what are the regulations there for? As I said in the speech, in fact, on the 29th, the day we were meant to be leaving, big business lobbies, goodness knows how many there are in Brussels, on vast salaries, lobbying the EU for more and more regulations. Why? Because big business loves more regulations, because it stops small businesses or medium-sized businesses from competing.
Jonathan Davies, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, economist, wealth advisor and podcaster. It's 9